Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. And now, celebrating 15 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM, we welcome you all back to our program. Also, those joining us online around the world, thanks to WYADonline.com. And, of course, our good friends joining us through iHeartRadio and Spotify. We're glad you all could tune in as well. When I say the name Robert Frank, a lot of things may come to mind. You may know him, of course, for his love of fitness that he's been able to share online, but also just the fun that he's been able to have and share with all of you guys through his videos. And then, of course, his thoughts about issues that are going on around the world. We're excited to welcome him to our program today to talk about this journey, what it's been like for him to do what he loves, to share his own personal journey with all of us, and, of course, what it's been like for him to see the response from all of you. Robert, hello to you, and welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. So, Robert, you know, a lot of great things are happening for you right now. I mean, you're celebrating, of course, an amazing response to your online efforts, but also just looking at what you've been able to do offline, Robert, I think so many people are inspired by because they've been able to literally take this journey along with you in your own life. What has it been like for you to be able to share a part of yourself and to see the response?
It's been awesome. It almost happened by accident, I would say. Not really by accident, but I've been in this social media game creating videos and content since, I want to say, 2013, but it took until July of 2016 to really get recognized. So it was 3 years of creating content that nobody was watching. And when I say nobody, I mean, you know, a couple hundred views here and there, and then it took one video to blow up, which was a Pokemon car rage video, which I'm most familiar with the bandana, sitting in the car screaming about something or other. And
right.
It's been fun, and I've built a good fan base, and they're a very passionate fan base. And it's been really cool.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Robert, because I think a lot of times people look at you and they say, I want to be him. I want to do what he has done, not realizing what it took to get to that point. But I think it goes to something bigger, too. When I was prepping for this segment, it goes to what you just said. I mean, you were doing what you were actually passionate about. You were sharing things that you were actually passionate about, and the audience came. Do you think that has been the key for you, the authenticity you've been able to show?
Yeah, definitely being organic as possible is something that and when I say we, not just me, but I have a whole team around me. I've built up, you know, a cast of characters that you could see in my videos that play a role a lot. When I'm in the car with the bandana, usually it's just me by myself, but with the other types of videos that I do, I have a whole team of, you know, a crew. And, yeah, it's important to be organic, to be yourself, and just keep pushing through. Even the days that, you know, you have a video that gets 10 views, if this is something that you love and you want to make it maybe someday a career, even if it's just a hobby, stick with it.
Right.
And that's really all the advice I could give.
And that is advice that has worked for you. Now, you know, again, I noticed, too, when I was prepping for this, Robert, I mean, you make videos, even using, especially on Instagram, using your stories to share tips. So you're giving the fitness tips. Of course, you're having the fun, like you're talking about sometimes, but also, of course, sharing your thoughts. And, again, that goes to people feeling as though they know who you are. I mean, when the audience started to grow, I mean, what was it like for you to kind of see how these people were drawn to you just by your being you?
Well, the audience grew by the car rant videos that I did, because those were the videos that were being shared by all your major multimedia platforms, your Unilads, your World Stars, 9gag, Barstool Sports. All these huge pages were sharing those videos. So when the fan base was growing, people thought that was me all the time. I was always growling and mad about something. So the Instagram stories and the other videos that I do, the Snapchat and all that, it's a way to show that I'm really not that guy all the time. He is a part of me. He's a character. He comes out when he's required or when he's summoned, so to speak. But I like doing the stories because then people know that, all right, this guy's just not a raging lunatic. He's a normal guy.
You're a normal guy. And I think your being normal, again, gives people something that they can be able to aspire toward. The other thing I want to talk to you about, Robert, I think is really important is, the physical journey, right? And even we might even say, the overall journey to becoming who you are, because I love the fact that you're able to share that. You talked about 2016 being kind of a pivotal moment for you. But, even with that, you're being able to talk about your own journey with fitness and how you became the person you became. Talk to us about that, why that's been important for you to show people that just like, social media fame doesn't happen overnight, to get the body you want doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, no, that's true. And that's always a work in progress, and you're never going to be satisfied. Just like a video, I have a video with 50 million views. I'm not satisfied with that. I want 100 million views. However I look when I look in the mirror, I'm not satisfied with that. And fitness is always going to be a journey because you're never going to be happy with the end result. But fitness is also a way to escape reality. And that's what I try to bring in my videos. And whatever viral topic is going on, or even more serious things like anxiety and depression, video bullying, cyberbullying, I make a video and I show people, like, listen, fitness is a way to escape all that. If you're being bullied at school, go to the gym. Get big, get jacked, get juicy, whatever goofy sayings that I say. And it really does help people. People with anxiety, people with depression. I tell them, get in the gym, because fitness is huge, and it's huge for the mind and for the body. So I strongly suggest to anybody out there, if you've never stepped into what I call the glorious house of gains, which is the gym, get in there as soon as possible, and you'll feel what millions of other people are feeling.
I think that's going to be a great segue to your podcast as well, Robert. I want to say for those who are just tuning in on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Robert Frank to our program today. We're talking to Robert about the journey to doing what he loves, how he's been able to step into himself, to share himself with others online as well as offline, because he's also very active in events as well, but also sharing your voice, Robert. And again, you were just talking about the Glorious House of Gains, that ironically is also the title of your podcast. Did that seem like a natural progression for you, because you'd made such a name for yourself through video? Did the audio just seem like a natural thing for you?
Yeah, it definitely did. And again, it was another outlet just to show that, because I always joke around with my crew. I never want to Archie Bunker myself. And, Archie Bunker is, for those of you who don't know, sitcom back in the 70s or early 80s, whenever it aired. He was always looked at as that guy, that character, where he was the furthest thing from that. And it's almost like my Rage character. I said earlier that he is a part of me, but that's not me all the time. And the podcast is a great way to show that, I could talk about other things too, just not gym-related stuff. And even though the podcast is called Glorious House of Gains, we talk about everything. Relationship advice, we do talk about fitness, current events, our weekends, and we just show that we're normal guys, and, fitness is just a part of it. But definitely it was a natural segue to go from videos to the audio.
People that I talk to on this program a lot, Robert, are sometimes hesitant to call themselves a role model or an example. Do you find that something that you embrace?
That's a really good question, because, yeah, I would say that I am a role model, and I only say that just because of the thousands of messages, emails, DMs, comments that I've seen over these last couple of years. That I've changed, my content, maybe not me, but that character has changed so many lives. And even our podcast, we get a lot of feedback that our podcast gets people through the day and motivates them to hit their goals and hit the gym harder and just hit life harder, not just the gym, just life. Hit life harder, work harder, get more girls, do whatever it is. And so, yeah, it is something that I embrace. I'm still the character is very arrogant and focused on toxic masculinity, but I am a very humble guy, the real Rob is. So it is a little overwhelming when people come up to me in real life, especially, and share their stories with me. It definitely gets a little overwhelming, because I know that I'm just a normal freaking guy, and people are telling me how my content has changed their life. It's a little weird, but I love it.
So it's interesting. You've said a few times in this conversation, Robert, and I didn't even honestly think about it, this way when I was prepping, for talking with you. So you see what most people see as a persona more so than a real representation of who you are.
Yeah. You know what? I like to compare it to maybe like a professional wrestler. A wrestler has a character, and obviously, if you've never watched my videos, you can tell that I'm a huge wrestling fan, or used to be more when I was younger. But I'm like a wrestler. A wrestler has a character. They play a role. They're a good guy or they're a bad guy, and like a Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan. That's kind of like the persona that I have. He's like an old school professional wrestler type.
Gotcha. Well, the reason why I bring that up, and the only reason why I asked that, Robert, because one of the things I noticed, and again, for those who are joining us the same day that we're having this conversation, one of the things you recently shared in your Insta stories, Robert, is you were giving advice, of course, about things to take, what not to take together. And, of course, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that because, again, you're talking about people's health and their bodies and that kind of thing. So how do you balance it then? How do you balance the persona, especially from when you're sharing information like you do sometimes online about things that help people, with health and fitness? How do you balance the two together?
That's a good question, too. I feel like, and I probably shouldn't feel this way, but I feel like the people that watch, that are invested enough to watch my Instagram stories and watch my content, they pretty much know the difference between Robert Frank 615 and Robert. So I still try to bring a little bit of the character into those Instagram stories, with the sayings that I have, and when I'm comparing a supplement product, like, listen, you can't take this with this, but I'll throw in one of my one-liners in there. So they'll know that even though I'm talking in a normal voice, it's still that character. But no, you're right. It is a responsibility because you're pushing products out there to people, or you're letting them know that products are available that could be very dangerous if they're not taken the right way.
And like I said, I wouldn't have even thought about it that way unless you were referring to the character, and it was funny for myself, in watching it, and of course, I think you're right. People will be able to tell when you're having fun, but also I think it's I kind of compare it to like I do my friends, Robert, who's most of the ones I'm the serious one in the group, even though sometimes I say things that may be funny, but there are some that are just used to being known to be funny, but they also say they have those moments that are serious. I kind of just looked at it that way. But it's great that you're able to say, like you did, that, hey, this is the persona, but also this Rob, is who I am. And so it's great that people are able to do that. But with all that you've been able to achieve, Robert, I mean, you've had the viral success, the social media success. You have the offline success of garnering fans that way. What is next? What do you aspire to do next with your brand?
Well, that's also a very good question. We've had over the past year or so, we've come up, and when I say we, I always say we have a team of guys. And for those of you listening who enjoy our podcast, we have the Joey Bag of Donuts, the Ray Worldwides, the MBJs, the Vinny Bag of Chips. These are all people that are part of my crew, and we talk about the future a lot. And we know that the viral success, usually people are one or two hit wonders. We've had the success for the past 3 years where we're still doing very well. The video views are still rising. I'm still quote unquote a household name. When Robert Frank posts a video, people want to watch it. But we know that eventually that's going to come to an end, and we have to have a plan B. And we have our hands in so many things that I hate to say that I can't talk about it, but I can't talk about it right now. But they're going to be huge. They're going to be huge.
Yeah. Well, it gives us a lot to be able to look forward to, Robert, and I appreciate you taking out this time. Again, everyone, Robert Frank has been our guest. A really great conversation with you, Robert, talking with us about the brand, what it's been like for you to do work that you love, but also, of course, to be able to share a part of yourself that's been entertaining and informative for your audience. And then, of course, as you said, been able to inspire them as well. And it's great that you're able to give them that type of, of combination of things. Where's the best place for our audience to go, Robert, to stay connected with you?
The best place to find, I'm very simple. I'm Robert Frank 615 everywhere. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat. I try to keep my name very simple. There's a lot of content creators out there that confuse their audience and they have different names for different platforms, I'm just Robert Frank 615, and you can listen to our podcast at, as you said earlier, the Glorious House of Gains podcast, and we are literally everywhere.
You sure are. And so, Robert, because of that, I really appreciate this time, and I hope you'll stop by the program again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome.
Hey, glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late, you missed part of the conversation with Robert, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right as we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media sites. So head over to facebook.com/CyrusWebb or go to twitter.com/CyrusWebb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share it with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.